So I'd like to welcome everybody to this webinar, a very special webinar today with the two Emmas. We've got Emma Cole from Touchday and Emma Lane from Towanda UK. So welcome to you both. It's fabulous to have you here. We work with both of these companies, and they're both amazing supporters of the EnviroRental roadmap. So we really appreciate their financial support and their input into a lot of the things that we do. My name's Bob Garner. I'm the founder and the CEO of EnviroRental, and you have joined one of our regular webinars where we touch on various aspects of sustainability in our industry. I also want to introduce Amit, who is looking after everything today. Amit's the engine of everything that happens in EnviroRental. He does most of the work and I take most of the glory. So Amit has done everything to organize this, and he'll be helping along if we've got any questions or we need any links as we go through. So if you have any questions as you go along, please just post them in the chat. And I'm just going to turn off my email to stop it blinking at me. And there will be time for questions at the end. This is being recorded because we find a lot of people don't actually join the live webinar, but do watch it later because it'll get posted on YouTube in the next day or two. And we will publicize that, of course, as well. So there's going to be 3 presentations today. Emma Lane's going to start first from Towanda, then Nicole from Touchday, and then I'm going to just do a little bit at the end about EnviroRental. And hopefully between us, we'll be covering lots of amazing things that you might want to hear about. So without further ado, please put yourself on mute if you haven't already, and I'll pass over to Emma Lane to do the first presentation. Hello, Emma, how are you? Welcome.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for that nice introduction there. So yes, I am Emma Lane. I work at Towanda UK. So just bear with me a second and I will just pull up the slides here for you all. So hopefully you can all see that. Give me a thumbs up if you can see that. Good, awesome, amazing. So yes, so thank you, Bob. So my name is Emma and I work at a company called Towanda UK, and I just want to kind of touch a little bit on who we are, what we do, what is our mission, and basically what we are is a listing directory, and we advertise holiday accommodation throughout the UK, self-catering accommodation, a few hotels and things as well. But let's start from the beginning a little bit. So this is Laura and John. So they are our founders here at Towanda UK. They're a husband and wife team, and they live on a farm in mid Wales with their now 3 boys. So this photo is actually outdated a little bit. Laura's actually off on maternity leave at the moment, or otherwise she probably would be here herself. But yes, so they live on a sheep farm out in mid Wales with their 3 boys, and they own and run their own accommodation as well called Squirrel's Nest Treehouse Retreat, and they founded that back in 2018 after just realizing that they needed to diversify the farm and get another income stream, as so many out there, you know, so many farmers and other small businesses realize that they need another income stream. So that's the kind of route that they went down. And John, being a carpenter, he's built a lot of the tree houses himself, and so they've done a lot of the legwork for their business and a lot of the marketing themselves. And throughout their initial journey in running the holiday lets, they did go with a booking agent and they paid out a lot of money in commission fees, but they wanted to kind of do everything themselves, get a lot of direct bookings, and kind of be very hands-on with the business themselves. And so they worked very hard to do that, built up a big social media following, big email marketing campaigns, all of these sorts of things to be able to reap in their own direct bookings, and eventually kind of stepped away from those booking agents where they were paying out a lot of money in commission. And so by doing that, they saw an opportunity to create another business, and that's where Towanda UK comes in. So in August 2020, Towanda UK was founded, and we now list over 200 properties throughout the UK. And what are our aims? So basically, what we do is we are a listing directory, as I've mentioned, and we advertise holiday accommodation all throughout the UK. But what Laura and John really wanted to do is to be able to create a network for holiday let owners to be able to connect and to learn, because a lot of these people, as Laura and John themselves, they started out in the holiday let market not really knowing anything, starting from scratch, not having that kind of network to bounce ideas off and to learn from. And so that's where they saw kind of a gap in the market and wanted to be there as a support network and to help other owners to better themselves and to better their businesses, to empower them, basically, as I've written there, to better their businesses and to get to the next level where they want to be, and reap in those direct bookings and not have to rely on other sites where they're perhaps paying out lots of money in commission. And so basically we set up Towanda UK with an online community where we can guide them to resources and to other information and to give them top tips and education to be able to learn all of the things that you need to learn as a business owner, right? We have to wear all the hats, don't we? We have to wear the marketing hat, and we have to wear the admin hat, and we have to wear the cleaning hat, you know, all these different hats as holiday let owners. So that's kind of a little bit of our aims and what we do and what we set out to be for our owners who list with us. And so that then draws on to how we do that. And so what we set out to do is to create this community, but we wouldn't be able to do that without partners, because we don't know everything ourselves. We all know we have to wear all of the hats, but we're not all experts in everything, are we? So that's where we draw in these partners to add that expertise and to help educate our owners and to further expand everybody's knowledge, basically. So we initially partnered with TouchStay, probably right back in the beginning, actually, wasn't it, Emma? So we've partnered with TouchStay for a very long time now, and Laura and John actually use TouchStay themselves, and they know, love and trust the system that TouchStay do and know the benefits of it, and in turn, by doing that, we can fully promote that to all of our owners and share that expertise and share that experience that we've had with the product as well. And it is so valuable to be able to, as Emma will go on and talk about, but to save owners time and to help in the guest experience and everything else. So we've done numerous webinars with TouchStay and introduced that service to our owners. And then more recently, we've partnered with Bob and Amit at EnviroRental, which we're really excited about. And we've sponsored the roadmap because we really feel that just aligns with our ethos of our company, where we want to educate our owners, help them, to guide them to different resources, and to help them better their businesses as well as ours. So we're really excited about the journey with Bob as well to help make Towanda UK more sustainable as we go throughout this partnership. But we're in the very early stages, aren't we, Bob, of that partnership at the moment? So we look forward to where it will take us as a business as well, and certainly Squirrel's Nest Tree Houses as well as educating all our owners into how they can become more sustainable, which is so vital and so important. So yeah, that's a little bit about what we do and why we've partnered with EnviroRental and TouchStay, and why we feel it's so important for us as a business and for our owners. And I hope that leads nicely on to Emma to introduce what TouchStay is and tell us a bit more about it and what it can do for you as holiday let owners.
Oh, thank you, Emma. That's so nice. And it's so lovely being on a webinar and talking with two businesses where we're all very aligned from a values perspective. It's not about like huge faceless corporate tourism. It's about having that really personal, really not niche is the wrong word, but very specialized hospitality offering, and with tools like certainly with Touch Day, you can kind of scale that out and give that same very personal approach to your guests, but also wrap in that very important piece around sustainability. So it's lovely to talk with to have two of these topics all woven in together. So I'm Emma from Touch Day. I'm in a little marketing team in product marketing, and so I'm here today to talk a little bit about our product. And part of our partnership with EnviroRental is in some of our Touch Day templates, our guidebook templates. We have a category called the Making a Difference category, which is all about how you can show off the sustainability and the ethics of your business through your Touch Day guide. Guests want to go on holidays that are more sustainable or that help them behave in more ethical ways. And the demand for this, especially from millennials and Gen Z guests, is becoming more and more, because it's about values, and people do travel with their values as well. And they make a much stronger connection when they're able to travel in a way that feels more aligned with their values. So it all sounds a bit wishy-washy and emotional, but that's people, and that's how we are. So hopefully that's all of these pieces connect nicely together. So I'll tell you a little bit more about Touch Day and how we all make this come together. So I'll share my screen. And can everyone see? Some thumbs up? Yes, very nice. So Touch Day. So there's a QR code on this screen. So if anyone would like to open up a Touch Day guide, this is an example from one of our customers in Australia. Have a look around, be nosy if you wish, and have that as your companion as we go through this section. So if you don't know what Touch Day is, scan this QR code. I won't even have to speak, it will explain it all for you. But it's digital guidebooks for short-term rentals. So essentially, it's a little concierge in the pocket of the guest that they have with them to learn about your property before they arrive, so they can anticipate their trip, build up that excitement and anticipation, and then when they arrive, instead of having to ask you lots of questions, everything they need is in the palm of their hand. We also have built-in communications as well, so you can preempt the questions you're going to get from your guests and answer them throughout that guest journey, and it's all automated and very easy. So it's all about fantastic experiences for guests and a really easy life for you as hosts. And we have small customers, with 1 or 2 properties, and we go up to massive property managers with 1,000 properties. So it's super flexible software. So we're for everyone. We're very inclusive. So, here we go. Well, I've already explained what we are. But instead of having those, so kind of what actually is it? So instead of those paper binders and PDFs that you're always having to update and like a physical copy of something, which isn't a very sustainable option if you're constantly printing and updating, this is just on the user's phone, and it's not an app. The guest does not have to download anything. They don't need any login information. You just send them a link, whether directly or through automations, and then they have it on their phone. So it looks like an app. Oh, we've got someone wanting to join in. It's all right. So it looks like an app and it behaves like an app, but it's a progressive web app, so it's browser based, but it's a really lovely, slick experience for the guest. And on your side, it's super easy to update and manage this. So that's what we are. So a little bit about Touch Day. We started off very small, and Emma was one of the Tawanda was one of those customers right back in the day, and Bob's been along on the journey for quite a few years as well. So they're around, these numbers are actually slightly out of date. We have around 40,000 digital guidebooks out there in the wild being used all around the world, and more than 3 million guests, and it's actually 3.5 million this summer that accessed that we're using a Touch Day guide. So, and we're also in 35 countries, so we're all over the world, a very global business, or at least global guests traveling all over the world. We're not the ones traveling. And a really significant number of our customers report that how much time they save when they introduce Touch Day guides to their business. So it's great for guests and it's great for our hosts as well. Super. So what is in the guidebooks? What does it look like? So we have it's a very feature-rich product. There's so much you can do with it. And the main thing I like people to understand is that it's mega flexible. So regardless of the type of business you have, whether you're apartments in one building, whether you're a farm, if you're motorhomes, if you're camping and glamping, or if you're lots of different apartments and properties in different areas, it's mega flexible. We have more than 15 different templates now, and you can kind of customize all of these templates exactly as you wish. So you can add in your own, am I in the right? I am in the right thing. You can add in all of your own images, your own multimedia, videos. It's super, super adaptable and very flexible to use. And you can customize it all entirely for your business as well. So it's all your logos, your branding. You kind of get given this nice template to use, and then you can put all of your own branding and your own business style into it. So when guests receive that guidebook link, they don't know the name TouchStay, they don't interact with TouchStay, they're interacting with your business and the information that you're sharing. So it's that lovely personable connection instantly with your guests and helping build that brand recognition that leads to those nice direct bookings. We also have a great feature for email capture. So if you want to rely less on the OTAs and refocus a bit more on those direct bookings and building a relationship with guests, we've got a really nifty way of capturing their email addresses so you can stay in touch. Last year, we launched this really cool thing called custom elements. It's basically a way for you to embed lots of different third parties into your guide. We've got Spotify playlists. We've got 3D tours, so property tours, which is really cool for helping guests really visualize, do a little virtual tour through your property before they even arrive. You can also upsell using this feature as well, create a little marketplace within your guide. It's super, super flexible, and there's lots you can do. And one of the really great things that I think all of our customers love is the integration with Google Places. So you can add as many Google Places, all of your local recommendations into the guide, and a little map is created within the guide. So not only is it all the information about your property and answering all questions, how do I use the Wi-Fi, how do I check in, it's also all of that local knowledge and the recommendations that certainly from an ethical and sustainability perspective, you're able to recommend things that are local businesses that you're supporting, businesses that you want to help grow, and really helping guests come in and have a more local experience and give back more to the local area rather than just going to, just the bog standard stuff. So it's great for the local businesses, it's great for your guests, and it's all about connecting the two together and having that lovely sense of community. So yeah, lots of great stuff we have. So as I mentioned before, in our partnership with Bob, I'm just going to take a water. Can everyone mute themselves, please? Thanks. I know we all forget, it's all good. So the Making a Difference category. So this is a category that we added to the TouchStay template, the short-term rental template, to make it easier for hosts to explain what they're doing within their business, within their rentals, to become more sustainable. So we have Bob, the lovely Bob, uses TouchStay and has a TouchStay guide. That's some screenshots from his here. And within the Making a Difference category, he's able to explain the different types of bins that can be used, how the water should be used, and how to cut down on water usage, and different things they're doing within their business to make their property more sustainable, so that when guests come, they feel empowered to know that they are following the rules, they're doing the right thing, and they're being responsible guests. Because guests want to be responsible, they do. They want this information and they want to feel empowered to do the right thing, and not just get back a little bit to areas they're visiting. I think everyone needs to put themselves on mute, but it's all good. And there are other initiatives you can do within the template as well. So you can share a bit more about your business and about yourselves, as we have the lovely example here, and different initiatives around tree planting, as an example, as we have from one of our customers here too. We have a lovely quote from Bob himself talking about how it's just such a nice way of showing off your sustainability and values. And we have a customer that has a really, really great example of this. They're like the exemplar. So they're called Olala Homes, and they have properties across Europe, a lot in Spain. And within their guide, so I have some screenshots from their guide on the left here. Within their guide, they have the making a difference category. And here they're talking about why sustainability is a core part of their business, because it is. It's very much built into how they operate, and they have a whole team focused on sustainable operations, because they know whilst it's something that's important for their guests, actually it's even more important for their business. New laws and new regulations are coming in all across the world, forcing businesses to be more sustainable in how they operate. And so laws and these changes are coming. So even if you don't care about sustainability, soon you'll have to, because whichever country you're in, lots of new regulations and laws are coming in. So the more you can do now to prepare, the better it's going to be for you. And also, a lot of these practices save you money. They cut down on heating bills. They cut down on water bills. They build efficiency into your business, and that impacts your bottom line. So even if you're not fussed about the fluffy feelings side of sustainability, it's all about impacting your business. So it's the smart business choice to focus on sustainability and educate your guests in this manner. And so why Olala Homes are interesting, additionally, beyond having this category in their guidebook, they've created an entire separate Touch Day guidebook that is a pure sustainability guide. So they have the link to it here within the property guidebook. And then here on the right-hand side, they have this full sustainability guide. So it talks about how their properties are using renewable energy. It talks about the environmental standards they have within their business. And they really focus on water conservation. And they came and did a talk with us in Barcelona back in May. And I think Bob was there as well, which was lovely. And they were talking about what, how they're trying to get their guests really engaged with water conservation, particularly in Barcelona. I actually live in Barcelona as well, and I know that there's been a huge drought for the last couple of years, and there's a big education campaign from the local government to get people to cut down on water usage. And I'm very aware of this. And so whenever I'm turning on a tap or I'm watering my plants or whenever I'm using water, I'm very, very aware of this because it impacts where I live and everyone around me. But if I'm a guest coming in, it's a little bit harder to have that connection. Guests don't know necessarily if they're coming on their holiday. They don't know that there's a drought. They don't know that there's a challenge with water security. Not everyone can be educated on these issues to every place they visit. That's fine. So what Olala Homes has done within their guide is to really talk about water conservation and highlight to their guests in Barcelona and throughout Catalonia that there is a drought, and they've made it kind of fun. So one of the things they've done beyond talking about it in their guide, they've set a fun challenge for their guests. So in the showers or the bathrooms in each of their properties, not only do they have within their properties QR codes for guests to scan the guides and learn more, they have a little poster up in the bathrooms that sets the challenge of having a 6-minute shower. Because if you can set yourself having just a 6-minute shower, it significantly cuts down on water usage. And because for guests who are traveling, the water usage in showers really makes up the bulk of water usage. So this really had an impression on me, and now I absolutely set myself the challenge whenever I'm showering of having a 6-minute shower. And you'd be amazed, you can get out and want it to be done in 6 minutes. It's surprising. Like, how much water have I been wasting? So my tip to you all that I hope you all take away with you beyond the power of Touch Day digital guidebooks is have a 6-minute shower and see your water bills go down. But this was just a funny story they were telling, because they've taken something that's quite serious, set a fun challenge for their guests, because everyone loves a bit of a challenge and a bit of a game. And now it's something that their guests mention to them when they're checking out, when they're leaving reviews. Oh, I didn't know about the water. It's been so fun. Our kids loved the challenge. It's a nice way beyond about it being about sustainability, but about creating more of a connection with your guests. And actually, through telling a story about water conservation and the need for taking shorter showers, you've built a nice connection with your guests, and through this story, just given them a nice moment. So Olala Homes is a really fantastic fantastic example of our guests going our customers rather, going above and beyond when it comes to using that making a difference category. And it's super flexible. Whatever it is that you want to share in your guide, if it's less about sustainability, but more around the ethics of how you're running your business, especially like farms in rural Wales, if it's all about the local community, the local businesses, and focusing on that authenticity and the value in the area and land, you can talk about the local businesses you're supporting, the suppliers that you're buying from in the area. Maybe it's the soaps or the produce that you're buying, that your guests are using, that are part of the ethics and the way that you run your business. You can use the guidebooks to talk about this as well. So it's mega flexible, and it just gives you a really nice way of getting this information in front of your guests. So hopefully I haven't spoken too quickly, and I've given you a nice flavor of how you can take what you're doing within your business and present it to your guests, or some ways that you can start thinking about, okay, how do I bring more sustainability into my business? And then how do I present that externally to my guests? And so Touch Day is really this communication tool. It's how you communicate with your guests. The example from Olala Homes, they're not just using it as a template for their property, a guide for their property, they also have it as they're purely a standalone one for their sustainability guide. And more people are using Touch Day in this way. It's not just for your property guide. It can be your cleaning guide, your event guide. I have a city guide. So when people come and visit me in Barcelona, my mates, friends of friends are always asking, oh, where should I go? And I'm like, I don't know. So I just send them the link to my city guide, and all of my Google places, they're all on the map. And then everyone's got their own little personalized map. And it's really fun for me to do. And I'm constantly updating it because it's just a nice thing to have. So whether you're organizing an event, if you're running a HR department, like employee onboarding, we have all these different templates and ways that you can use Touch Day in different areas of your business. So this is something new that we've launched this year, being able to manage all of these different templates and types of guide from one account. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't want to build a website, or I'm not sure how to communicate this, we have a Touch Day guide to help you with that. So check it out. We've had some wonderful feedback from our customers using guides in all magical different ways that we never even thought they'd use them for. So I highly recommend having a look. And if you would like to learn a little bit more, so we're all about guest communication and making sure guests have a great time and sharing information. And we have a guest communication study that we did last year that's full of really interesting data points and actionable ideas for how you can improve communication with your guests, cut down on those questions, and more importantly, make sure guests have a really fantastic time. So it's a free download if anyone's interested. It's a really lovely document. And then for anyone that's keen, we have a Facebook group with almost 3,000 Touch Day customers in there now, learning from each other, asking questions from each other, and it's where we post lots of new updates and information. So if you're interested in joining, we all have a good Facebook group. It's a great community, so feel free to scan there and join us as well. It's been lovely talking with you all. I guess I'll be handing back over to the man, the legend that is Bob.
Thank you, Emma. That was amazing. And just to follow up briefly on what Emma said there, here, my business here in Italy, I run holiday rentals for 20 years, obviously in the sustainable way. And we've been using the Touch Day guide for many, many years. So I think the making the difference section is really, really important. I'd happily share my guide with you, how we communicate sustainability to our guests, how we involve them in that process while they're staying with them, how we educate them to take something home in what they've learned and apply it in their own day-to-day lives. So it's a brilliant way to communicate what you do, what your ethics are, how you work with your local community. I'd really recommend it. So thank you, Emma. That was really good. So I'm just going to speak very briefly and talk a little bit about EnviroRental. I'll just share my screen. Hopefully you can see that. Give me a thumbs up, somebody, that you can see it. Great. Okay. So EnviroRental is a non-for-profit set up 2 years ago to support sustainability in the short-term rental industry. So we are the go-to hub for anything you could possibly want to know about sustainability and in short-term rentals. I set it up because people were always confused about what to do, where to start, how to begin their process on their sustainability journey. And what they ended up doing is doing nothing. So I thought if we have all the resources in one single place, it takes away one of those barriers and lets you learn at your own pace about what is happening and what you can do. It's only for property managers and hosts and only in short-term rentals. It doesn't deal with anything else. So you can feel reassured that when you go there, you'll have everything that you need. It's in collaboration with a number of amazing sponsors, and we've already talked about Towanda and Touch Day, but there are others as well. You will find them on our website, and we really appreciate their support because we couldn't do it without them. All the resources are free. There are no costs whatsoever for joining and participating and learning from the website, because we don't want you to have to jump through any hurdles or hoops to get started. So all you have to do is register, and then everything on the website is free. And it's a way to get started on your sustainability journey. I'm just going to move this box away a little bit so I can see the slides properly. Okay. So that's EnviroRental. And I want to now talk about briefly some of the business advantages about being sustainable. I'm not going to go into a huge level of detail here because there is a great blog on our website all about it, and I'm sure Amit will post the link to it in the comments. And we also talk about this on our homepage. But what I always say to people is, don't worry. I'm just going to put up some of these points. Don't worry about what the motivation is for getting started. The important thing is to get started. It doesn't matter if you do it because you're interested in making more money, differentiating yourself from your competitors, or any other topics up there. At the end of the day, if you start on your sustainability journey for any of the reasons that are on the screen here, which I'll touch on in a moment, that is a great way to get started. And the end result is you build your business, you satisfy your customers, and you do some good for the planet. So many of these are obviously self-explanatory, but so I'll touch on them just very briefly. Differentiating yourself. We know, as Emma talked about, that consumers are now starting to look for sustainable stays. So if you can start to build some sustainability into what you offer and brand yourself as sustainable, that's really important too. And one of the ways is through your Touch Day guide, which I know you'll all be signing up for at the end of this webinar. That is the way that you can start to communicate who you are, what you believe in, what you do, and differentiating yourself from your competitor who may not be doing some of those things. So if you can start to do those things and people can see that you're doing for them, then you're making a difference. And that can obviously then lead into improving your profitability, because you're getting more direct bookings, you're getting more bookings, you're getting people coming to you because, I'm just flipping across this slide in general here, you're giving a great guest experience, and people are interested in what you do and why you do it. It can also be great for staff attraction and retention as well. We're now seeing a lot of the younger generations are starting to want to work for companies who are doing the right thing for the community, doing the right thing for the environment. So you'll find, particularly with younger people, younger employees, but also other employees, they love the idea of working for a company that's doing good, that's doing the right thing, that's making a difference, and isn't just all about making money for itself. And that's a great way of attracting the right staff and keeping those staff. I wanted to touch on publicity, because certainly this has been my experience at Casal di Fichi here in Italy for the last 20 years. If you start to do some stuff around sustainability, then it's really important that you talk about it, that you publicize it, and you will find you will get some media attention as a result of that, because there's still a lot of people who are not doing it. And it's great to get that publicity, to get that newspaper article, to get that piece online. You can create a page on your website. You can let your mailing list people know that you've got it. talk about it, shout it from the rooftops, because that's a great way. If people can start to see more and more that you're doing the right thing around sustainability. Somebody's not on mute. If you would just unmute yourself, that would be great. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. So we can see there's consumer demand, but we're also thinking about future proofing. And Emma again touched on this, on the regulations are coming through now, which are going to start to impact on what you do and how you do it. So starting to take some steps now around sustainability can be a great way of getting ahead of the regulations and the legislation that's coming your way. And finally, I wanted to talk about the guest experience, because, you know, everything at the end of the day is about the guest experience. You can be the most gorgeous place in the world, but if you don't give a good customer experience and they go home feeling dissatisfied, then you're not going to get that client again. You're not going to get them recommending you and referring you to other people, and they're not going to return. So everything you do, including sustainability, is all about the guest experience. And part of the guest experience is giving them that sustainable stay, letting them see that you're taking the right steps and trying to do more. And it can be very simple ones at the beginning. Don't feel overwhelmed that you have to do everything at the beginning, but taking those steps and letting the guests see that they have played a part in letting you promote your business and being sustainable. I always get a real buzz when guests come and they have a great time. They've learned a bit about sustainability, and they go home with that sort of warm feeling that they've played their part in this, because they've booked with a sustainable accommodation and they've supported us. So they go home feeling a little less guilty that they've gone on holiday, because people sometimes have this guilt about traveling now and going on holiday, because they've played their part, and they often go home and then start to take some sustainable steps themselves. And I also want to touch on this at the end of the business advantage. It's all reliant on building your brand and communicating sustainability. Everyone's, I'm sure, familiar with the term greenwashing, and there's a piece of EU legislation coming through now to actually stop all companies in any sector in the EU from greenwashing, pretending to be doing more than they're doing, or pretending the impact that they have is greater than it actually is. Nobody wants that. It's not good. We don't want it in the industry. But we also don't want something called green hushing. Green hushing is where you're doing some really good stuff around sustainability, but you're not telling anybody. It's not on your website. It's not on your OTA listing. It's not in your digital guide. It's not in your newsletter. It's not in your social media. How is anybody supposed to know that you're doing some great stuff if you don't build it into your brand and communicate it? So I say this every time, you know, shout it from the rooftops, even if it's just one single initiative. Everybody's got to start somewhere. Talk about it, write about it, put a link on your website, start the making a difference element in your digital guide. This is how people can start to understand that what you're doing is the right thing and that you've a plan to do X, Y, and Z afterwards. So really important to build it into your brand. Now, I wanted to just give, I'm going to just pull them all up, 5 simple steps, because I always think it's great to go away with some initiatives that you can take action on straight away. And I always try to find those that are easy to do at low cost or no cost, and that will get you started on your journey. Because once you get started, it's a little bit like eating potato chips or crisps, as we say in the UK. Once you start, you just can't stop, because it gets addictive, because you start to see the benefits for your business, the benefits for your guests, and the benefits for the planet. So just really quickly, I want to talk about these because then we want to move on to your questions. Green energy tariff, and all of this is on our website. We've written lots of blogs about this, so you just have to go to our website and you will find all that information. Green energy tariff. This is simply about the energy that comes into your business, your electricity. What is the tariff that you are on? If you don't know, look it up online on the bill that you get through the post, and you will be able to see. And if you're not on a green energy tariff, talk to your energy provider and ask to be moved to a green energy tariff. It's the same electricity coming down the wire, but it means that the money you give them, it goes to support renewable energy rather than energy made from coal or gas. So it's a quick, easy thing to do. No interruption of the service, shouldn't cost you any more money, and then you're supporting renewable energy. You can badge your website and start to tell people that that's what you're doing. It's one of the easiest and one of the biggest steps that you can take. So really encourage you to do it. If by any chance your provider doesn't offer that service, switch to another provider. In many zones, particularly in Europe, it's super easy to do. It's not going to cost you any money, and there'll be no interruption of service. So I'd highly recommend it. Second, tech sensors. These are about sensors in the home that are monitoring movement, that are monitoring the aircon, that are monitoring water. Think about using technology. There are many, many companies out there. You'll find some of them on the EnviroRental marketplace. Go to our website and look at the marketplace, and you'll see providers who are giving tech solutions to help you be more sustainable. So go and look for some good providers that are going to really help you, because it saves you money, because it turns off devices and monitors things much better when there's nobody there. Everything shuts down, because it's so particularly important if you are not on site. So do consider some technology to help you reduce your bills and reduce your sustainability footprint or carbon footprint. Third one is eco toilet paper. Lots of brands out there. I use Who Gives a Crap, an Australian company. They deliver around the world now. Funny name, but it's recycled paper. Amazing product, amazing service. Lots of other brands are out there too. I like Who Gives a Crap personally, because they give 50% of their profits to build water facilities in the developing world. So I always think, when you're thinking about how you spend your money, however big your business is, and we're really small, one of the things you do have control over is who you give your money to. So give it to a company that are doing good. It's a way of amplifying the impact that you are having. So think about eco toilet paper. And that is a great message to give to your clients, and encourage them to go home and sign up to a company as well. Lots of companies out there, easy to Google and find them. Single-use plastic. Again, everybody knows about single-use plastic. Everyone knows about how amazing plastic is, but it is an insidious product. It takes thousands of years to degrade. It's a really robust product, and therefore we should be using it again and again and again. Think about in your property, in your kitchen and in your bathroom, where you can replace plastic that's used once and then thrown away. Change it to things like dispensers in the shower and by the sink, which you can just refill, and the dispenser on the wall stays there. It will save you money. It's convenient for the guest, and you're not using plastic in a gun that you use once and then throw away. The same with the products in the kitchen area. Think about buying products where you can refill and use the existing dispenser or bottle again and again and again. There are lots of companies doing it now, and it's a great way of getting single-use plastic out of your operation. Really important. And then the final one, and one that people often don't think about, is eco-friendly web hosting. What we mean by that is the electricity that runs the servers that run your websites. Are they based on an eco tariff, as we talked about at the beginning? You can go to a website called the Green Web Foundation. I'm sure Amit will put a link in the chat. Then you just put in your URL, or any URL. It will instantly tell you whether the servers that your website that you're using, whether it's run on green energy or not on green energy. You might be lucky, you might get the green smile, the thumbs up, which means you can then take that badge, a free little piece of code, and put it on your website. If you look at the footer of EnviroRental, you'll see it there, of course, on our website. So it's another way of communicating. A really small step, but all of these things add up to being something significant. If you don't get the green light from the company, then talk to your provider and ask them what they're doing to move to renewable energy. These simple, small steps all build up to make you a much more sustainable business. And I'm just, for some reason, my screen has just frozen. Bear with me. Okay, and yes, once again, brand your business, as I said before. Think about your website, think about your newsletter, think about your Touch Day guide, think about accreditation, think about, whether you can be accredited and go on a route where that you can be working with a company like Sustonica, for example, or Calia, and get a badge for the work that you're doing, and they will help you plan for the next stage. So again, here is a QR code for EnviroRental to help you sign up. It's envirorental.earth. Take a scan of that if you would like, but go to envirorental.earth, sign up, and all our resources are free. I'm not going to talk about this one because I plugged it in earlier. I'd rather go to your questions. So I'm going to stop sharing and actually see if anybody'd like to ask some questions. So thank you so much. Amit, has anybody posted a question in the chat? And if you haven't, you can do so now, or take off your mic and ask us direct. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yes, there's one question from Russ, and that is, what are your thoughts on buying RECs if our area energy companies are slow to grasp green energy? So, Bob, would you like to answer?
Yeah, sure. Yes. So, yeah, certainly, I think in the States, it's much more difficult to get renewable energy tariffs. So this is one way of compensating for that, where you can buy these certificates and money is then invested to support renewable energy. I don't know a great deal about it. I know that they exist. I think what it does involve is some additional expense because you're continuing on your energy tariff and then buying these credits as well. But if you can manage to do that, these credits are really valuable and do make a difference. We'd love to see in an ideal world that in every part of the world there would be an opportunity for you to move to a green energy tariff, but some zones and some countries are a little bit behind, with all due respect to America. I'm sure it's not across all of America, and Russ could probably say more about that than me, but we'd love to see that much more widely, that there is more choice. Certainly in Europe, there's a lot more choice, I think. Other questions? We'd love to hear. Any questions for either of the Emmas about their amazing companies? Don't be shy.
I had a question for the Emmas, for one of the Emmas, but I also had a question for Bob, for you. So just a general question. So why do people who are in the short-term rental industry, why do they how does it benefit them to pursue sustainability in their rentals? Like, does it help their profits? Does it diminish their profits? Or what do you think is the extent of people just wanting to do it because it's good for the earth and humanity?
Yeah, is that for me? Do you want me to answer that one first? Yeah, I think, as I was alluding to in my presentation, I really don't mind how people come to the issue of sustainability. I come at it because I'm passionate about the planet, I'm passionate about the subject. And even if it didn't make my business any more money, I would still do it. Even if it cost me money, I would still do it for my business, Casal di Fichi here in Italy. But the point is, the business benefits, as I was alluding to earlier, the 9 or 10 of them that are on the homepage of our website are about making your business more successful. And there's absolutely no shame and no judgment on that whatsoever. The better your business, the more profit you can make, the more reviews you get, the more direct bookings you get, the more repeat business you get, the more referrals you get, the further you get ahead of the competition. All of these things are going to help you build your business and be more successful. And if as part of that process process, you're addressing sustainability. The planet benefits anyway. So there's absolutely no reason to not do it simply because you want to make more money. You don't have to be passionate or even that interested in environmental issues, though I think we all should as global citizens, and we're all going to be affected by this. But do it for whatever reason you want to. If it's about making your business much more successful, which I believe it will, then do it for that reason. I have a 90% book direct rate with my bookings here in Italy. I have a 65% repeat rate of people, a referral rate, I should say, who come back and refer other people to us. So I think those numbers speak for themselves. I'm not having to pay out a lot of commissions to get that business in. But as I say, I would do it whatever. But for most people, I think they would do it because it's going to be good for their business. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Did that answer your question?
Yes. I was also wondering, unless someone else has a question before me.
You go ahead.
Yeah, so I was also wondering how big of a factor are just wondering if you've gone into the question, like how big of a factor are short-term rentals in sustainability globally? Like how much of an impact does it make if we promote in that space?
I'm not sure if this will help you. So the travel industry as a whole accounts for between 9 and 10% of global greenhouse gases, because obviously the travel industry is massive, it's huge. You know, I think 10% of the global workforce work in some way or other in travel. So clearly it's really important, if we're going to get on top of the issues around global warming, then the travel industry needs to be part of that solution. Obviously, short-term rental industry is a part of the travel industry. I can't give you the number, I'm sorry, but it's a significant part of that. So, you know, we can say that, you know, several percentages are around short-term rentals. So I think it's beholden on us and our industry to grasp the nettle and start to tackle sustainability. And that, you know, can't just be, I say this all the time, what we don't want is a few people doing sustainability perfectly. We want everybody in our industry tackling sustainability imperfectly. That aggregate total of everybody doing their little bit, if I can put it that way, will have a much bigger impact than just a few of us trying to do it absolutely perfectly. That's really crucial.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
In that regard, yeah, okay, fine.
Carry on.
In that regard, why do you think green hushing? I never heard of green hushing before this. So I'm working in a different space doing the same thing. I'm building a company that's making software for investment analysts to for data transparency, to penetrate greenwashing of that companies do. So a lot of these companies that who have their stocks traded in the stock market publicly, they engage in a lot of greenwashing in order to get more investments. But so making software to help against greenwashing. But then I never heard of green hushing before today. So why does that happen?
I think it happens. Yeah, I think it happens. It's a good question. I think it happens partly because people are nervous they're going to be criticized for greenwashing. I speak to so many owners and property managers who are doing such amazing things. And I say to them, but there's nothing on your website about it. There's no information that would let anybody know that you are tackling this topic and starting to talk about it. What is the point of that? And often the answer is, not always, but often the answer is, well, I'm worried that I'm going to get accused of greenwashing, that I'm going to be, you know, accused of just trying to jump on this bandwagon and do, you know, this and get all the credits and the plaudits for it. If you're honest about what you do and you're clear about the impact that it has and you don't exaggerate, and you say, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and I intend in the future to do A, B, and C, that is absolutely fine. So I would encourage people to be honest and open. Nobody's expecting perfection from people. We've all got to start somewhere on this journey. And if you're only doing 2 or 3 things, that's absolutely fine. Do them, implement them, learn from them, review, and then take the next step. So that's the idea. And I think that's partly why people go into green hushing. thank you for those questions. Just opening it up for other people. Anybody else have some questions for either of the Emmas particularly, rather than me doing all the talking? You've got two amazing specialists here, so this is your chance to pick their brains and learn from them.
Good one. Emily, so with your business model, how are you planning on like training your clients, or how do you, is it more of a group or individual, or how do you do that?
A little bit of both. Thank you, Russ. Yeah, good question. So we have created a Facebook group for all of our owners that advertise with us. So within that, they can access information from us that we put in there regularly, top tips, discussion topics, things like that. We also advertise regular webinars that we do for our owners on different topics like email marketing, social media, all different topics across the short-term rental industry, really, and things that they can help to improve their businesses. We're always open to new topics as well, so we invite our owners to pop in there any suggestions of things that they perhaps want to learn more about, and then we'll investigate that, whether we need an expert to come on board to help with that education. Then we will do things like that to help in that instance. But yes, a lot of it happens on a closed Facebook group that's just open to the people that advertise with us, and then it's kind of gone out into webinars, and it will go out further into more of the dashboard area. We're just currently in the process of having a new website built as well, so we're hoping to expand the owner's dashboard within that new website that will become much more of a hub where they can access different resources and those webinars, and easily access the community group on Facebook and things as well. I hope that answered the question. Any other questions from anybody else? I'm not sure where the other Emma's disappeared to. I can't see her on my screen.
Yeah, she had to pop off because of an emergency.
Okay.
She said that, whatever questions may be, she'd be more than happy to, address. Yeah.
Excellent.
So last chance for questions from anybody before we finish. Okay. Well, I'd like to thank both Emmas for participating. We really appreciate your time and your insights. This video will go on our YouTube channel in the next day or two, so those who have signed up will be able to see it there. Thank you, Amit, who's organising this. He's that does all the work in EnviroRental, so thank you so much for your work. Thank you to the questioners as well. We really appreciate that. And we'll see you again at another webinar soon. Thank you so much, and take care. Have a good day or evening wherever you are.